particular piece that you read out encapsulated the tension in that relationship really well. And it's almost like, as the reader, you could see what was going to happen. It was a game, wasn't it? They were playing a game. How did you sort of develop that game?
Well, it took a long time, and when I was writing the early drafts, I kept thinking, well, is anything going to actually happen? And when is it going to happen? But I think it was justified by, I wanted to make it as realistic as possible, and with the fact that there was this antagonism between them, that they weren't going to suddenly get together and everything was going to be smooth running. So little things happened to sort of draw them together, and then eventually, you know, it happened, and he went round to, without sort of giving too much of it away. But yes, that was the way that it happened. It was stretched out over quite a few pages, but I hope that I just built up that expectation. And it was one of the methods that I've used in my other novels. Well, sometimes I'll introduce a character early on that we won't actually meet until later. I just like the idea of building up the tension between them.
When you started the novel, did you know what the ending was going to be, or did that become clearer as the novel developed?
No, I don't think I did know what the ending was going to be. I think when I write the first draft, I don't really have an idea of what the ending is going to be. I'm not one of these people that plans the novel right the way through, so I tend to just write the draft, and then the ending will happen naturally. And then as I come to it, I may change the ending if I have problems with it, if it doesn't seem right. And this one was difficult because I had to try and resolve it in such a way that was that just would fit the story, really, and the way that it had ended. I was thinking initially of ending it sooner, but it went through, as I said, 7 or 8 drafts before I was happy with it.
Can you explain the significance of the title?
Right. Well, The Butterfly Collector, basically, I saw it as Peter was trying to control and hold on to all the different aspects in his life. And you could see it in all of his relationships. So he wanted to keep his father hanging on. His father kept asking him if he would be willing to do this, take on this job building these blocks of flats for him. So he would keep his father hanging on. So I just felt that I like the idea of the butterflies as being, you know, something sort of metaphoric, I suppose, if you like. But then there was a scene later on in the book where the old woman next door to one of the houses that he's working on, the butterflies actually come into the garden. So she actually points him out to this butterfly, and isn't it beautiful? And then there's a kind of a comment she makes about that. So yeah, that was the significance of the butterflies.
For me, I think it connected with the fragility of the relationships that he had with all of them, even with his daughter, even with Natalie's daughter. They were all very delicate relationships that he was struggling to maintain and hold on to.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think that's what he also did, was he put up such a front as well. He built these defences around him. And when you see some of the dialogue and some of the scenes with Claudia, when she's always talking about the future they've got, and he never once allows her to get to him with that future, apart from one small scene which I felt was interesting, because it sort of was a change in his thinking when he's with Claudia, and he suddenly describes how he imagines seeing her with their children, and he's got one of their children. So that was about the only time that he had that image of their future.